On Monday, November 23rd, in a special meeting at the Rolla Technical Center, the Rolla City Council voted to pass the COVID-19 ordinance requiring a mask in public and limiting the size of gatherings to stop the spread of the virus. This will go into effect 6 a.m. Friday and last until February 2nd, 2021. The meeting lasted over 4 hours long, with health officials giving presentations and 50 concerned citizens speaking their voice before the voting occurred. But before the meeting, local churches and members gathered in the RTC parking lot for a prayer meetup where they had worship music and group praying for the city council to make a favorable decision, especially regarding church restrictions. The members said they are mainly here to pray churches don't get shut down if the ordinance passes, but the ordinance did not call to shut down any church, only to limit the capacity to 25% for them and any other large gathering in order for everyone to properly socially distance.
I hope that they make great decisions and that they choose not to close the churches. That's the main issue for me.
I just pray that they have a softened heart for you, Father God. Let us refrain from anger and turn from wrath. Vengeance is yours. Our freedom is in you, Father God, you and you alone.
And God, we don't want to be muzzled in Rolla. We want the muzzle removed off of Rolla. And we don't want to have to stand 6 feet back, God.
Our spirits would not be squelched by a fear that we would offend those that don't agree with us. Lord, that we would not give way to the enemy simply by being silent.
Right before the meeting, City Council member Lister Florence stopped by and was met with a large prayer circle over him.
Flood every influence, Father God, that you placed on him, Father God. God, just do it, God. You know.
The meeting started with an opening statement from the mayor, acknowledging the divide and controversy this ordinance has caused, and assured everyone this is only a temporary measure and is vastly important to help our local healthcare system in this hard time.
COVID in one way or another has impacted every American. Impacts to our health, to our socialization, to the education of our next generation, to the national and regional economy, and to our local livelihoods. All of this has been real, and it's created lots of tensions between us all. My concerns, beyond the health aspects, is that this issue may divide our community.
The first few people that spoke were members of our local healthcare systems, stating the facts and data about COVID-19 and the effect it's having on our local hospitals.
We're not asking for a community to abandon their beliefs, forget their values, or anything else that would further divide us. We're asking for our community to come together to help our healthcare workers, but most of all, help each other. The wolf is in the house, and we are going to have to deal with this, and we won't get that help. If we're successful, then we will hopefully avoid the prolonged capacity in our hospital. We won't have pushed our healthcare workers beyond their limits.
As you can see, on a national level, a state level, a local level, all of our cases are increasing, and they are increasing rapidly. The pandemic is real. It is here. It is here now. Our healthcare systems are feeling it.
Then there were about 50 citizens of Rolla who came to speak upon the ordinance, some who agreed and many who did not. The most prevalent and repeated concern was the effect the ordinance would have on small businesses. The ordinance states that businesses and other areas of the public will require a face mask along with gatherings such as weddings, funerals, religious services, camps, or anything similar be limited to 25% of a facility's capacity. It also states restaurants and general retailers, including small businesses, are exempt from the occupancy limits if social distancing is observed.
I represent a business that was considered non-essential, but it has continued to be horrible in fitness. I would say that we are down by over 50%. We just don't have the money. And my biggest fear was that you were going to put more restrictions on us. The more restrictions there is, the less people that were going to be coming in. And we can't take that hit. We're just not going to survive.
Many religious leaders and church members spoke on the struggle, stating their concern for church occupancy limits being 25%.
We have spread out the seating in our sanctuaries. We've canceled unnecessary events and encouraged masks, as well as adding strict disinfecting procedures. That said, we believe it is important to caution you not to take your efforts to protect our citizens too far. It is possible that your very efforts to fight the pandemic could become a plague in themselves. If your restrictions make it unreasonable or impossible for people to meet together, pray together, or worship together, we'll have an entirely different problem on our hands.
Others spoke on their freedoms and rights as American citizens. Some people were more outspoken with extreme statements to the council, while others were more concerned for their personal beliefs.
And reviewing this ordinance, it seems to me that this ordinance will mean nothing but a declaration of political war against everyone in this community, especially to our businesses.
Whether you think these masks work or not is really not even the issue. There's a lot of arguments about whether they work, what are the statistics. I think I've heard some things here tonight that I know are wrong. It's not about whether they work or not. It's about what you guys are doing. This is about individual freedoms and individual rights as Americans.
Now it's mask mandates, very soon vaccine mandates, COVID pass. We're becoming a tyrannical society. We have to stand up. And I'm a Christian, and I believe this is Satan's attack on the church. 25%, a lot of churches are not going to be able to meet. And this is just spiritual warfare. And we need to think about what we're doing to society.
In the end, the ordinance passed. Health officials have been pleading for this as the hospitals have been overwhelmed. The mayor assured this was not an easy task.
We as your health system are asking for your support by your adoption of these mitigation strategies. We are asking for the City Council to make the right decision that is the best interest of public health and safety. We know that it takes all of us to help slow the spread of COVID-19, and it takes not just one mitigation strategy, but all of them. Your participation in this suggested mitigation strategies is the best effort to protect yourself, lessen the risk for your neighbor and local businesses, and help decrease the burden on the local health system.
I think that each and every one that spoke tonight spoke from a very heartfelt position. I think we would all agree that this is not an easy problem to resolve.
For more information on the ordinance, go to PhelpsCountyFocus.com.